So I'll tell you how me and Saad kind of sparked the conversation. Like not 8 years, not 8-10 years back. Like recently. So Saad always believes in getting equity in a company, right? That's his. You want me to?
Go for it.
He always believes.
So okay,
in,
whenever you turn with the mic.
Turn with the mic.
So he always believes in getting equity in a
Turn with the
company, right? But I believe that equity is good in long run, like 100% good in long run. But that works. That has worked well for people. But I always believe in companies that
That
are
works when you have
rich.
cash in the bank.
Cash in the bank. Like if you're making a company, you need to see profits first. If you don't see profits first, I don't know like what's the whole point of equity and everything that you're talking about. All those comes later. When there is money, equity makes sense. When there is no money, what's the point of equity? Like
So
I think this is the kind
I
of
don't think that is the reason why we didn't work together, because I think that is the reason why we would work together. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because you're cash first, I'm equity first.
yeah.
Right?
100%.
You think in your long term, in order for you to survive long term, you need money now. And I'm like, we'll figure out the money later. Let's think long term, right? And the day when we both figure out how to work on something together is going to be incredible, because I will work on the macro and you'll work on the micro,
Yeah,
and it's going to be
yeah.
really good.
But
Now-
don't you think that cash is like really important for
Cash is-
any growth in a
cash is-
company?
Growth, okay. Cash is important. Don't get me wrong. And this is an argument we've been having with Ruth also for a while now, where we were like, okay, bro, equity and all is good, but like, what about the cash? Right? You need cash. But here's where I stand. Okay, this what you see right now, what I have, is called wealth.
What is wealth?
Okay, cash can dissipate tomorrow. Okay,
True.
hear what I said. The growth that equity gives you, that is a gradual growth in terms of when I get here, my ability to stay here is much more prevalent than someone who just has cash. That's the difference between. So my goal is rich. My game is rich versus wealth, right? Like money versus wealth. Money versus wealth is, I know I'll have to struggle 5 years. Don't get me wrong. I am very well aware that your current scenarios are 100 times better than me. But at the same time, my tomorrow, the foothill that I have already built up, is allowing me to scale, and it just gets faster and faster and faster once it hits momentum. For example, the state I was in 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, now. That jumps, you will not see it, but you can, like, the growth stage is much quicker for me. It looks like a hassle in the short term. Don't get me wrong. Like, because bro, you got bills to pay and there's no fucking way around it, right?
Absolutely,
you got
right?
salaries to pay.
You need
have-
to hire people. You need to get the right kind of connect. Get
with you
into
for all
places.
that.
Yeah.
I'm with you for all that. But at the end of the day, you can build things that will give you cash right now, and that will disappear tomorrow.
That is one way of looking at it.
And-
if you invest that money in a very stupid way. Do you agree with me? Like, what do you think, Shubhajit? If we invest that money that we have in
Mike.
the bank in the right way, do you think that is far more valuable? Of course, future is uncertain. It's very much uncertain. But we have to plan something, right? And it starts with what? Can you plan something without money?
Yes. If you cannot get here without money, then I shouldn't be here. If money is the only, listen to me. Here's the thing. I'm not even talking out of my asshole right now.
I know, and I trust this guy, and I believe, and I've seen it. You know why? Because it is possible, and he's done it without money.
I have reached.
He is the only person that I know has reached wherever he is without
Zero capital,
capital, without support, without anything.
right? And I'm telling you this, and don't get me wrong, I look at your companies and I want to jizz, right? Like, I want to fucking jerk off to your companies. You know how fucking sad I am when I look at you motherfuckers like, cash money motherfuckers. Like, I get that shit, bro. You think I don't know that shit? I love it. That's why your company, Rahim's company, all of that. Bro, I get it. But at the end of the day, not that you're, by the way, you're moving towards a lot of equity models, by the way. I'm
Yeah,
seeing that. I'm
yeah,
seeing that.
yeah, slowly.
Don't. I'm
But
noticing
I am
you make
moving
those
to
moves.
equity You know what?
Yeah.
I'm moving to equity with companies and I'm working with cash again.
But you're working with cash. But here's the thing. I realized a long time ago that you need one of three things in order to succeed. And then if you have all three, though, it's fucking
It's,
incredible.
yeah.
But one of these three things. Either have a resource,
You mean network?
either become a resource.
Yeah.
No. Become a resource. That is
Okay.
a skill.
Okay.
A videographer, a talent, a developer, XYZ, falana, that you're so good that people hire you into a company, are ready to pay you and are ready to give you equity. For example, someone like Subhojit. The skill is strong enough for him to not need to do anything else.
True.
Then there is capital. That's your next in. That is, you have enough money that you can buy your way into most of the boat seats.
True.
That's where you come from. Third is leverage. That's where I come from.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, these does not mean you don't have the other two. Now, you work with a combination of two. So there is always combinations, right? So there is leverage, there is resource. Now, you are actually you are fairly good on almost all three ends. But you are still cash first. Because now, imagine your conversation getting into a business, okay? How much money do you need?
Yeah.
That's your conversation. My conversations with companies, you can't afford me, motherfucker.
True. Of course.
Like
you
my conversations are very simply put. All right, today, and here's what I'm telling you: equity. Today, we're sitting on companies who have been running for 6 months, 6 years, 7 years, who are big companies from Canada. There are guys who have been in the industry for ages, who are coming to me and saying, "Help us build the next thing. Here's cash. Here's equity. Here's everything you're asking for." I don't have cash on table. I don't. I have access to the people who do. Right? And that is the conversation where most people don't realize. Again, I don't know who's right. Here's the thing.
But again, you guys need to know he's the amongst like us and people that I know, he's the most richest guy, dude. I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Nonsense.
And I'll tell you why.
Nonsense, bro.
If I put this on papers,
No.
put his net worth on papers, he was ready to buy me out of my of whatever. Oh, that can't be spoken about.
No. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that can't be spoken.
No, okay,
Like we can give a general thing.
No, you can't.
No?
we can't. No, shut up. Moving forward. No, here's what I'm going to tell you. I look at all that paper money and I realize it means jack shit. And there's a very interesting podcast I was listening to, okay? And this guy is like, the worst metric today by which people decide who is rich are the people who are deciding that somebody is doing well because of their net worth. That's the most bullshit metric. You know why I know this? I have a fucking net worth in terms of paper that is more ridiculous than most people you'll ever meet. Guess what, motherfucker? I'm still broke. I'm still broke.
But you're rich, man.
See, I'm
On
a different
papers.
kind of broke.
Yeah.
I'm broke. Like, you know that Instagram?
Broke.
I'm broke. Like, I don't have the same problems. Like, for example, we wanted to do this podcast. It took me like half an hour to buy everything that we need in order to do this. I've reached that position.
Yeah.
From remember, do you remember the position?
I remember.
Do you remember that time where I would call you up and bro, like send me 100 rupees because
I'm not even kidding.
because I can't afford food. Like I've had this conversations with you
Yeah.
where I'm like, bro, need to order food. Please send money. I was living meal to meal, and the arrogance I had even back then to tell people that I'm only going to work for equity.
It's the same, okay? It's the same kind of arrogance that he has. It's not arrogance in a way. It's a nice thing, but you know, being upfront, like straight as an arrow, and telling people back then, like how he tells people now, that you know what, motherfucker, you can't afford me. It's the same. But that's what actually got him here.
No,
like,
but no, man, Junaid, listen, you are.
but the hard work and everything, of course, like
Bro,
all those things. Because I've seen this guy.
Oh man, you've
Like I've
picked me up
seen
also,
this guy
motherfucker.
fucking network like nobody's business.
Oh,
I've
you've seen me
this-
fail as much also.
I've seen
Like, don't
this
get-
guy in like different.
So this is, so you don't know this. I'm going to tell, this is the first time I want to talk about this online openly, right? I left Goa in a very bad state. I was in so much debt and I was in so many problems. The pandemic was going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was fucked. I was fucked on levels I had no idea how to come out of. And that took a toll on every idea. Bro, when you are fucked, no, bro, your ideologies, philosophies, everything, no, they write it on a piece of paper and shove it up your ass. That is the time where you actually realize, do you actually believe in what you say? Or is this shit that you actually just say for the fuck's sake of saying it, right? When I broke down, I remember leaving Goa, and Goa tested me on all levels. Like my partners, like I've had very bad fights with my
Fallouts and
board.
all
My
those
entire
things, yeah.
board, I had a fight with my board, right? We had, and I wasn't really able to see a way out. It was horrible. Still an arrogant piece of shit, but it was horrible. At that moment, your philosophy worked. You still were cash rich, motherfucker. At at that moment, when I needed a bailout, you were the one who bailed me out. And it wasn't like a couple of thousands where you're like, hey, bro, take 120, 30,000. There were some solid lakhs that I can't disclose the number right now, which Junaid is like, take. That is where cash comes of importance. When shit hits the fan, that's where cash comes to save you. Right? And that's when I'm like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I understand, bro. I understand the need for, and don't get me wrong, right now, Ruth, my consulting firm, works on an equity cash model. Still, equity first. You would rather work cash equity model. I work equity cash model. There's a difference, and I'll tell you what the difference is. The difference is, for me, equity comes first. Cash is an ability for us to stake ourselves as long as we are able to cash out on our equity. Do not kill ourselves in the process. Like, it'll give you enough profitability to survive. Right? Make a good team, not be able to go broke.
But let me ask you a question, and don't get me wrong. How long do you want to do this for?
Ruth?
No, not Ruth. Like working on equity model. Because
Oh.
you're working on equity model with a company that you don't know what their future is going to be.
No, but right now I've reached a point. See, again, now it doesn't apply. Now understand one thing. I'm not in a state where, bro, I don't have money issues anymore.
No.
No, this is the thing, right? Cash, this is where cash comes in. My equities right now in so many companies have gotten such a stronghold that I have access to, like, for example, even if 2 of my companies or 3 of my companies don't pay me for the next 6 months, I'm good. Because I have my other 6 companies paying me.
True. And at this point, I want to understand, what do you think, Subhajit? Is cash important or equity important? Or I know the most ideal answer is a little bit of both. But what should come first? Because you've seen this. You've seen people who have bank balance in their, in their banks, right? And you've seen people like him that have come from like nothing but have made it like so big in life only and only with equity. So what is your thought? What is your opinion?
I
What
want
do
to
you think should
actually,
come
do
first?
you know anyone else who is doing this? Because sometimes I'm worried I'm fucking wrong and I'm delusional. I want to meet another person who's kind of figure.
Tell me
I'm
if you
very
know
cu-
anybody else in
I'm
your
very
life
curious who
that you met
operates
somebody like him.
me,
Yeah,
who
like equity.
operates
Do you
on
know?
like how I operate.
Do you know? You
Bro,
know who
I'm
operates
scared.
like you?
No,
Fucking-
that's what fears me, bro. Sometimes because I'm like, do you guys know something I don't? Like, am I doing something? Because like, I'm not a genius. Like, you know how
No,
you're like, oh fuck, you're so special, bitch. I know I'm not special. Somebody, please tell me there is somebody who's operating the way I'm operating, so that I can ask him, where I can talk to him. I'm like, yo, this is what I'm doing. Is this stupid? I have no point of reference.
Have you tried like searching this on Quora?
No.
Like, are there people like me?
I don't think people
I
like
do
me
that.
are on Quora. I don't
Yeah.
think people like me are on Quora. That's another thing. No, but I'm curious. Have you, both of you guys know how I operate?
I know exactly
Right?
how you operate. Yeah. Have I met somebody like you? No. Will I ever meet somebody
I
like
hope,
you?
man.
I don't
hope-
know. Maybe,
hope-
maybe not. But I would say 95% no. Because you're special.
Bro, fuck that. Nicely jerking me off, but that is not going to help me because I'm actually very, very. You know how you look at things and you're like, oh shit, okay, cool. You learn from somebody else's mistakes.
Yeah.
show me those mistakes. No, I have no one to throw my ball. Like I have no one to bounce my ideas off of.
I'll tell you why.
What a
Because
fucking
the road that you've taken right now, nobody's maybe taken it.
Yeah.
So how will somebody else tell you if that's a mistake or not?
I don't know anybody who only operates on equity. That's the thing. I know people who match your aura and energy, but not your business working style. And
Do you question it? Do you ever get scared working with me? Because
Scared?
you're one of my partners. Like
Scared?
because it's
I get-
scary.
I
to
don't
work
get
with-
scared because I am thrilled by it, because
That's
I
a
haven't.
nice way of putting.
Yeah.
I'm not
No, but
scared.
also you need to understand he's cash rich.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't give a fuck. Like he knows if
Yeah.
it goes belly up, he's got like a cushion so
Yeah.
big that he can place his entire ass and just calm the fuck down.
I just love exploring things with Saad.
Yeah,
He can capture your mind,
absolutely.
titillate it in ways that nobody else than Saad can,
Yeah,
So it's a thrill and, it's enjoyable to work with him and to know what is going on in spaces that you didn't have any idea what was going on,
true.
But you do realize I'm making up 90% of this shit. Like it's
That's fine.
I don't even know whether like for example, we were having a conversation about this new project you're working on. I'm assuming these things.
Yeah.
You need to
Wait,
understand,
hold on. What? Assuming what?
like the processes. I told you it's a hit miss.
Yeah. No, this I
It's
know.
such
Yeah.
a trial and error, and I think that is why I am not. And first of all, this is not supposed to be about me, so we're going to shift. We're going to shift to you in a second,
Okay.
right? But I want to put this out there. Maybe the reason why I'm still working as an exception is because the gray areas I work in are such a specialization. You have to work like me in order to get there,
True, absolutely. Yeah.
True.
right? Like otherwise, like there isn't for example, the thing that you want to build right now that does not exist.
Absolutely.
And that has so much government and private and all of that shit in terms of plays going on. You need to create something out of the box in order for it to work. People who work within the box will not figure out a way to work out because you were
They
talking.
don't know how to do it.
98% of
Exactly.
the people will tell you not possible,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. I think
know it's not
99 point whatever people
Yeah.
are going to tell me it's
Yeah,
not possible.
And
And
they're
that's
probably right. That's the thing. They are probably right. And here's what people don't realize. They are probably right. And it's not that they're wrong. In that current scenario, they are right. In order for you to do this, and this is something that I realized when I started Flip, if I wasn't as naive and I was stupid enough to believe that I can pull something like this off, I probably wouldn't.
Wouldn't. Exactly. And this is like a live example for anybody out there. To even if it is as I'll tell you, do you know what Flip started as? What his idea was? Do you know? Okay. So he wanted to not even build a lamppost. On a lamppost that is already there, attach two of your kitchen cut type dustbins there, no? Attach two of that side to side. On top of that, put an ad board. That is what-
a paper like a placard type thing.
That is what it started off with. And it's evolved to the Flip that we know right now.
Yeah, and
So-
it's ridiculous because the more people said no,
You know what's even more ridiculous? He believed in that idea of attaching. He believed in that idea with so much conviction that he wanted to attach two fucking plastic bins
bro, I
to a
think
pole.
that conviction is the reason
Right.
why people weren't like, for example, my investors, my partners, they didn't join the idea because the idea was brilliant. They just joined because of the conviction I had for the idea.
And absolutely.
And I was like,
When-
ye hoga. Like,
Absolutely.
really, bro?
I'll tell you why. When investors look to invest, they don't invest in the idea. They invest in a team. They never invest in an idea because they know, because what you start off with is not what you're going to achieve. You will definitely have to pivot multiple times. And they're okay with it. Investors are okay with teams pivoting, with companies pivoting. But as long as they feel that the found or the team has fucking clairvoyance on what they're pivoting to or for.
On that note, let me introduce you who Junaid is for people who don't know who Junaid is. Junaid is the alter ego to me. If I am heads of a coin, he's the tail. I am, bro, we'll figure it out. दिल से काम करेगा. Fuck yeah. He is like, तुम गांडू है, दिमाग किधर है तुम्हारा, numbers किधर है, stats किधर है, तुम चूतिया है. But at the end of the day, it's the brain and the heart, right? Like if I am what allows people to believe that something is possible, he's the one who makes it possible. right? Like that is the closest thing to I can describe who you are as a opposite to me,
Yeah.
right? And that is both difficult and amazing because we never agree on anything. By the way, me and Junaid till date have never figured out a way to agree on anything, and I love it. And you know why I love it? This is the way I figured. I used to meet people, they used to disagree with me, and I would be like, no, bro, that guy's a piece of shit. I'll never call Junaid a piece of shit. And I'll tell you why. He can disagree with you without malice. Most people don't know how to do this.
Yeah. Even I don't know how I do that. Honestly, it just comes out. But I'll tell you what. Thank you so much for that introduction, Saad. And
Okay,
you know what I
wait.
love
Company
him for?
introduction. Company
Is
introduction.
the way he introduces you to people. Like the way he hypes you up. None of it. But I'd enjoy that, right? You know why not? Because like he's hyping you up like nobody's ever hyped you up like that in your life. And that's what you enjoy.
So
That's what I
Junaid
love
runs a
for.
company called YDC, also runs a company called Connect, also runs a company called Tech Progeny. They invest in multiple projects. If you have an idea, you can hit him up. If you have anything, you can talk
Link
to him.
in the what is it
Yeah,
called?
you
Yeah,
can
in
probably
the-
check out
in the
all their
description.
websites and things
Yeah.
like that. If you are somebody who wants to work as wants to work for dollar cash bills, and you're looking for a gig, and basically, hey bro, listen, you're in college, you need to do something part time, make a little money on the side. Hit them up. They provide personal assistance to executives in the West. So they will help you learn how this entire process works,
Yes.
teach you a lot of things, and they'll put you under companies which are Canadian, American, XYZ, and you make money while you are in probably college and go and do it. That's one thing. And they also have a ton of other tech projects that they work on. If you're a developer, hit them up. If you're looking for a job, hit them up. If you have an idea and you're pitching, hit them up. So basically, it's like Junaid is like the genie in the bottle. You desire, he will provide.
What do you go to Rabbi thrice?
Oh man, your mom watches my content.
Oh my
your
God.
mom watches my content. Just
Bro,
like,
edit this, please.
like your mom watches my content. I love it. Okay, no problem. Amazing. It's weird. His mom actually watches my content. I
She
forgot.
does, yeah.
She follows me on Instagram and all. I'm
She
like,
does.
oh
Not just
shit.
my mom. Okay?
I'm
I'm so
sad
many
for
moms.
his mom.
Yeah. No, okay. On that note, we're gonna move the limelight back to Junaid, right? I want to take you back, and I want to take you back into three different stages because I have divided Junaid into three stages. Okay, the guy I met who had decided to officially quit his job. That is, do you remember the night we sat below this
Chai Days.
office, Chai Days, and
Chai
we were
Days.
having a
Chai Days?
discussion
Yeah, Chai
that
Days.
was your shift bit from what is the company that hired only bits guys?
That was Tap Chief.
Tap
That was
Chief.
Tap
So
Chief, yeah.
this guy, by the way, Tap Chief hires only from Bits Bilani.
Yeah.
One of the only guys who was not Bits Bilani that was hired was
Yeah.
Junaid. Right? So if you guys think it's only IIT and Bits Bilani, you know, bro, Junaid's here. Look at me, I don't even have a degree. Coming back, we had a very interesting conversation that day because your mind shift changed that day
Yeah.
a lot
did.
because you went from hey a 9 to 5 job with security to now choosing to work with someone who did not have a job description for you. So from there he jumped into managing an investment fund for a developer in Bangalore. And that's where his second, that will come back to that later after that. But that was the shift that was deciding because this company was ready to give you a raise. This company was like, hey, here's a car, here's a fuck ton of money, but you don't know what the fuck to do. We can't tell you what your job
Yeah.
is. You have to figure that entire thing out. But you love structures.
Yeah.
You work in organized chaos. Number one, what was going on in your head? What did you think before shifting? Did you think you would get to this trajectory that you've gotten so far?
No, I'll tell you what. So how it started was there was one company which was a startup where I was working, where structures were there and everything was there. Even though that was a startup, right? They had everything in place.
It was a funded, very well funded.
Very well funded. Yeah, it was funded. I think recently, An Academy bought them out.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So yeah, that is one thing. But it kind of worked in my favor because when I moved to another company, not even a job description. That guy is like, I want you here. You have to work for
Okay,
me.
little context.
No,
So-
I don't want any context.
no,
on
little
this.
context. Give a little context about how he found you.
Okay, going back, I'll tell you how this started. Okay, So when Saad was in Bangalore, he came and I was working on a 9 to 5 shift, right? And that was a night shift. I used to go work there. And Saad started Flip and he wanted to do it.
What does that have to do with me?
Listen,
now
I'll tell
talking-
you. I'll tell you.
Wait,
I'll come back to it.
Oh, okay. Very.
Okay.
This is new for me. Okay, very curious.
So I'll come back to it. So I used to work in a night shift. I used to come back and come to his house because my partner, my friend was also there. We used to come chill in his house and I used to go back to my house. So Saad one day asked me, he's like, "You guys are in Bangalore from almost 3-4 years. What have you done?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
No, I didn't say that. No.
I was like, "What the fuck does this guy mean?" And then that ride back
The
in my
audacity.
scooter.
No, wait. The audacity I had when I was doing absolutely nothing and
You
taking
started
money
Flip.
from you.
Yeah.
But what was Flip doing at that point?
Whatever.
Nothing.
But I'm riding back in my scooter and I'm like, shit, what have I done in my life? I've not done anything. Then we were like, so we are a group of like friends, but like very close, 4 or 5 of them. So I went back and I'm like, we haven't done anything. We need to do something. So then we came up with an idea to open a restaurant. Okay. Many things failed, many things, whatever happened. We finally opened a restaurant. But to get to that restaurant, I had to meet this investor that we were talking about. So that is how I met him. We started a cafe in Bangalore. Now it's a chain of cafes all over like Hyderabad and Chennai and all those.
It's called Kurtos Kalaks, guys. If you
Yeah.
want to buy a franchise of Kurtos Kalaks,
My God.
that's also linked here. We're gonna plug everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna plug
So
everything.
that's how I met this investor. And this investor was like, you know what? I want to work with you. So, but the good thing was I was already working in TapChief that had structure. So what I basically did was copy that.
Mike.
Copied, I copied that and I pasted like it over here. So very in the most bluntest way, I don't think I should be telling it. I should be telling that, I did hard work and this and that. But trust me, I just used the systems that were already in place. And that's what experience is, right? That is what
No,
experience
I
is.
think
You
that's
learn
very
it.
interesting because most of us, like especially for someone like me who has never had a job, I have no idea what a structure even looks like. So I am running around beating my head and trying to every day I change how my task board looks like because I'm just adapting every day to new systems. And I think that's a good thing. I think people should. What do you think? People should do a job before starting a startup, or people should just go have?
No, they should definitely work in a structure. And I'll tell you why. Because it really sets you up somewhere. You will get to know what work culture is, what ethics are. Otherwise, if you have not worked anywhere else, how will you work with somebody and how will you... you have to learn somewhere, right? When you work in a company, when you work in a startup or an MNC, you will get to know how your peers respond to you, what the structures are, what instructions you get from them. Using this experience, you can start your company.
Back then I was so naive.
Otherwise, you're...
Back then I used to be so naive. I used to say, no, I don't want to work for somebody else because I don't want their like closed mindsets to alter me. So I will go and figure it out so that I can figure out a new way of doing everything. And I realized that's the stupidest fucking thing I thought of. Because why are you trying to reinvent the wheel that has already existed?
Exactly.
And I'm having so much hard time right now. Like for example, the basic sales process. I've never worked in a company before for me to know what a fucking sales process looks like. So I'm just coming up with random ass fucking things that I assume works.
Yeah.
And it's just like a hit and miss constantly, right? And I think, you get a fucking job. I mean, don't get sucked into the politics of it. Go to a job knowing very well that, hey, I'm here to learn how this shit works so I can go and do it on my own.
You have to learn, and that's the most important thing. You're there when you go, because you want to work for yourself at the end of the day. But like, if you don't know how to work you don't know how to work. Okay, you're going to hire people. What are you going to tell them?
Yes. And
Your
that's one
learning
thing I
curve
like.
is going to be like very short if you've worked for a company already.
Okay, so now you've shifted to this company who you're managing their investments for. You suddenly went from a scooter to a fancy ass Volvo to a fancy ass paycheck, which was hilarious. Can I? If you want to delete after, you can tell me to delete.
I think I want to delete this.
No, it's hilarious because I remember first 2 months, the company hasn't formed yet. Okay, this investment wing hasn't been formed of that guy yet. He's on payroll so that that guy doesn't lose him. Okay, so he's basically getting a salary and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea.
But also, see, I'll tell you what, it might look great now from a bird's eye view, but then when you're in that thing, there are 2 things that happen, right? One is you're running around, like I told you, like a headless chicken. You're running around. What happens when you run around like a headless chicken? That experience you could have got somewhere else, you're losing out on that experience. So of course there is a downside to it as well.
Then
Yeah.
is your second phase. There was a shift here. Then came to your second phase. Your second phase was even more beautiful because here's the thing. You said you went from a startup culture, like a structure, to an unstructured job per se. Even though it wasn't really a job, you were getting a lot out of it and you were
Yeah.
getting more than what a normal job would be, but you still had a stable paycheck
True.
on whatever level, right? Then you said fuck to that also and you started your own company.
Yeah. And
What was because I doubt you would have gone from tap chief to running your own company. That
No
would have
way,
never
no
happened.
way,
That
no
would have
way.
never happened, right? What changed in this process for you to have faith and say, I can do this?
So I'll tell you how I realized this, right? It's because when I started working for an organization which had no structure and I was building structures for these guys, like in any sense, like for example, people are not there, they don't know how to hire people. I build structures on how to hire people, right? That is one part of it. They don't have a proper content team. They don't have anything, nothing. I'm kind of building structures. I thought that if I already know how to do this, why not shift to something that can help us all? You understand? So that was
When he says help us all, at this point, almost all of our friends in Bangalore work for him. Okay, continue.
no.
There's
I
an
was like,
entire house. It's a hostel. Okay, it's a
My
duplex. And everybody in that house works for the same company that is run by these guys.
it all started because of Ramzi. You know Ramzi?
Yeah, Ramzi. Yeah,
Of
Ramzi.
course
Yeah.
you know Ramzi. Why I'm asking. You know Ramzi. Like,
Oh, that guy had a beautiful shifts, bro. That
Yeah.
guy had some fucking. That's a different conversation.
so
altogether.
he was another part of why I kind of left. So one day I call him. I'm like, bro, there are so many things that we are doing. Like, why don't we just do it by ourselves? He's like, you know what? Quit your company. I was like, okay, done. Let's quit. That same day, I just wanted that push, like, you know. So once that was done, we started Tech Progeny, and
Okay.
that's how we started.
Phase 2, Tech Progeny. Then there was a dip.
Yeah,
Talk about that. Tell me what is going on, because now you've gone from stable. Hey, no matter what happens, I'm getting X amount of money in my bank. Fuck all that shit. I don't have to give a fuck about salaries. I don't have, like, you were giving salaries in Kurtos, yes, but that wasn't the same thing as now Tech Progeny, where you're running a 40 people team.
yeah.
That's a very different stake altogether, right? Walk me through that fucking pressure of what happened, what was the dip, and how did you come out of it?
So I'll tell you, the dip started off when COVID hit. To be very honest, everybody's story. So when COVID hit, what happened was we had to shut down Kurtos for some time, and then when we shut Kurtos, of course we had to still pay these guys, right, for some time, because I was not sure of how to run. Like, I was not sure of how to go about with this. We've still paid these guys for about the people who worked with us for about 1-2 months, and then I realized I can't do this because I have to pay these guys. I have to pay the rents. I have to all bills are stacking up, right? So then what we decided was that we are going to shut Kurtos in Bangalore.
Oh fuck, that's a
Yeah,
That's-
we are going to decide to shut Kurtos in
and that was
Bangalore
your first.
for some time. Yeah,
That was your franchise, right?
yeah. I shut that down for some time, and then I was like, "What do I do now?" This guy, the owner, is asking me for the tenant, right? Not tenant.
The owner
The
of the
owner of the place. He's asking me for rents, and the rents have already stacked up to like 5 lakhs plus. So I said, "What are we going to do about it? We have to run again." So then we started to operate this place again. But it's not the same during COVID. It's definitely not the same. People were scared. They were just scared to come out, right? So that was a fucking, a turmoil where then we decided whatever deposit we have given, we'll kind of offset that. Now I've lost deposit and I've lost the money. Then we started to like open again, but it was just not great. So we kind of shut that place down, and then we decided to shift our entire, focus to Tech Progeny. But the other places were
the
still running.
hardest
Yeah.
part of what we do
Bro, when you're asking me to like tell me like what the downfall
don't worry.
is,
It's okay, it's
I'm
okay. That's
like
okay.
kind of thinking like what else
It's
to.
okay. It's okay. You don't have to force it. Now, the thing is, the hardest part of what we do, especially now, we have like what 12 projects, 7, 10 projects, whatever. Like we have one project shuts down, we have another 6 projects to run. Fuck that shit. We can go about it. But the first project we started, the first one, the first baby of ours, when because number one, you're fighting yourself. After a certain point, you're just like, bro, I have to do it, and I have to do it, and it's that thing, right? And that pivot of whatever it is. Number one is that, like, how do you get yourself to say, I think it's time? Then there are people who are assholes who are just gonna fucking be like, I told you so, you're a stupid cunt. That shit breaks your self-image in terms of what you think you are. I don't
on
know.
a whole different level.
I don't know if you had that. Like it makes you question everything you believe in.
Exactly, and I
Like-
came to Mumbai with so much expectations of the company that I was looking to start right now, and the first guy I spoke to, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? I've done this 7 years back. It's not going to go. It's not going to work. Go back home." I was like, "What, chutiya? At least fucking tell me like what's up. What went wrong? Nothing." So to answer your question,
when you the day you decided you have to shut down Kurtos,
yeah,
how did that make you feel?
made me feel.
No, once again, Kurtos, one of the Kurtos, their main Kurtos branch had to be shut down. The other one in Kochi is still running.
Cochin's running, Hyderabad's running, Saudi's running.
So, but those are franchisees, right?
Yeah.
But it's your location, your baby, your first thing. You put your heart, soul, money,
Yeah.
your asshole's money, somebody else's money also in that. And to see, hey, bro, I think it's time. Like, how did you have that conversation, bro? And because it's 4 partners, right? And with Kurtos, it's not like one person making a decision. It's 4 of y'all. When was the thing that all 4 of y'all were like, yeah, it's time?
See, I'll tell you what, all 4 of us, what I really like about this is that we have the same mentality, right? With Kurtos, when we decided that, okay, it's going south in this particular location, of course, it was our baby. We started it, we hired. In fact, in the first couple of months, used to be in the kitchen, right? Helping just because I was very excited because it's mine and this and that. And then suddenly I had to run it because now the only thing what we were thinking is, like I said, we have the same mindset is, okay, you are running a business. The most important thing of running a business is to know when to cut your losses.
That's hard, man.
Yeah, it's very hard. People usually get hooked on or addicted. They don't see that what you're running is becoming a monster. It's a monster that's going to come and bite you in your own ass. It's going to fucking dig a
Who started this conversation?
deep fucking hole in your wallets.
Who initiated the conversation? That's the hardest part, right? Initiating these conversations with your partners.
It was hard. I'll tell you. So I think Ramzi. So that guy for some reason just knows what he's doing. Like, for some fucking reason. Like, he knows. So he called and he's like, you know what? What do you think about shutting this place down? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You can't shut this, bro. We started this.
Especially after you've burnt so much money in trying
But then
to
I'll
keep it
tell you
alive.
what his logic was. His logic was, why did we start this business? We want to grow, we wanted to grow, network, meet people, start off other businesses. He made it look like this was a stepping stone which we stepped on successfully. And when you have to let it go, you have to let it go. So he put these words in such a beautiful way. It just made sense to like shut it down. Because with Kurtos, the kind of people we met after that and the kind of projects that we did and the kind of companies that we started with Kurtos, right? It wouldn't have happened if not for Kurtos. None of it would have happened.
And that's, I think, wow, that's actually beautiful. And I'll tell you why. It's a lot of people forget that even your Ruth, the company that I'm running today, is a byproduct of WIF.
Yeah, for sure.
For people who don't know what WIF is, WIF was a thought I had back in pandemic where I wanted to start a company which basically me, Junaid shared resources and we take equity and build projects and shit like that. I have a presentation somewhere. Never took off. But that allowed me to set up fundamental concrete flooring in my head about an idea which now turned into growth when the right opportunities, when the right partners came in.
Right.
I don't think anything like in that moment you might feel like you failed, but I don't think any experience on any level cannot teach you how to move forward.
Yeah.
And the day you realize that it's all, these are all little games, no, bro. We're all playing little, small fucking games. The day we realize that each of these micro games is for something very macro that you cannot see right now, it's okay, let it go.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just fucking time to let it go, and it's fine. And I know a lot of people who are hurting themselves in the process of keeping things alive that they
shouldn't be running, right? And it's not just business, it could be anything. It could be anything, yeah. So you don't always have to like stick on to something. Sometimes you just need to think about these things in a third person's view. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, this is your business, you have emotional values attached to it. But what if this is not your business? What if, you know, you are just an outsider, but with the knowledge of what is happening, right? Think of it, and then you'll get that intuition with you, in you.
That's the hardest thing, listening to intuition.
Saying that, you know, I think it's time to shut it down. So,
okay. So where are we right now? Tell me Junaid 3.0 version right now, the person who I'm talking to. What does he think?
I don't even know how to answer these questions.
No, I'm serious. No, because like, see, listen. This is what I see. Okay, I see
How?
What is
And then-
Junaid
Yeah, what is
3.0?
3.0?
3 points. So there's two versions before this.
Yeah.
I told you the two versions, right? There was a shift.
Hmm.
Your frequency of coming to Bombay and your interactions with me are a scream for 3.0 coming out. I don't know if you are realizing this. I'm seeing this and it's beautiful to watch. And I don't know why it's beautiful to watch. Because there is this uneasiness and restlessness to be stagnant.
Yeah.
You're done. You're ready for the next phase. And I don't know what that next phase will look for you. Like, I have no idea. It's all phases, right? I think we are all like, for me, different times at different phases. I'm in a very different phase of life right now, how I operate.
True.
Everything. Like, and the thing is, every phase teaches you a lot of things. Like, this phase is teaching me organization on the level that I've never been organized. Have you ever seen me live like the way I've lived
No.
today? Right?
No. Not at all. I've seen him how he used to live. I'm so sorry to stop you, but I'll just tell you how he used to live. He had a bed, gadda, like this only. Does not give a fuck. He'll wear one banyan. He'll keep that fucking biryani plate on his stomach, and he's sleeping and he's eating. And
I need to get this story on the mic, bro.
he's on his gadda. He's wearing a banyan, doesn't give a fuck, hasn't showered in 3 days. For sure. He's kept his plate like this and he's eating biryani while he's sleeping and drinking a bottle of Coke. From that person, from that Saad to what this guy is right now, so clean, so tidy, fucking has a schedule, discipline.
And I think, you know, when I realized this, I think you've realized this a long time ago, but it takes me time because I'm stupid. It takes me a little time. You cannot fix just one aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be great at anything, you need to fix everything.
One by one.
One by one. Create habit patterns. I realized habit patterns.
Okay.
So this is how I thought. I'm like, I want to be really good in business. But I can't just be really good in business. I need to fix everything around it. So where does it start? Your food, your intake.
Absolutely.
Right? Then your health. Then your the place where you stay, the way you live, the way you operate, the discipline, your religion, your spirituality, whatever the fuck you want to attach to it. Everything has to be fixed, and it cannot be fixed overnight.
Yeah.
You give yourself. Don't put yourself a time limit. Here's what I did. I started with one habit. I said, I am not going to eat sugar for a month.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is,
but I think, see, again, you're right about this, and you have the willpower to do it, right? Listen, you did it. You told you're not going to do it, and you did it, which means you have the willpower for it. But
how? This is the secret. This is what I figured out, and it's a beautiful fucking thing. And this is what, and it fucking blew me away. You need to train your mind to believe that you can achieve. I did not think I could ever stop rice. I never thought I could stop fucking eating biryani every day. I used to have 3 meals biryani. Do you remember? There was a time I had biryani 2 parotas and a chicken gravy at the same night.
And 2
That was
liters
my
of Coke every
meal.
day.
That was
2
my
liters of
meal.
Coke every day.
That was my meal, bro. It was ridiculous, right? I realized I need to, because if you'd asked me to change, I would be like, bro, it's not possible. I'm the way who I am, but
Yeah.
that doesn't change. I had stopped believing I'm capable of doing it. So number one is wiring yourself to believe that you can create changes. And you can't do that on a macro level. You have to do it on a micro level.
Yeah. So
I
what do
started-
you think about fixing smaller habits?
That's what I started doing. That's when I said, I'm not going to have sugar.
So you
So
think
I go-
sugar is
For me, it was
small?
sugar.
Exactly, right? For
For
you,
me, it
because
can
you
be
had the
equivalent to
willpower.
anything. It can be whatever the fuck you want it to be.
What about getting up and just making your bed?
Do it. That's what it has to be, something incrementally. So then first month 1 habit, second month 2 habits, third month 4 habits, and you just change habit. And one day you realize, holy fuck.
Yeah. So there is this book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if you heard
Yeah.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
heard
Atomic
of it.
Habits basically tell you that anything that you're doing, right? Any small thing, that start off with something very small, because sugar again is a very big thing for you.
For
And that's
people,
exactly
think.
why
Like,
I
for
told.
example, Subhajit versus me. Subhajit, the Bengali who loves sugar, right? So for him to cut off sugar would be really hard, I'm assuming.
And I have done.
Yeah.
I used to drink,
That's because
and I have cut off. I used to drink 2 liters of Coke every day. I used to drink all sorts of things, which are very harmful. I used to have burger every day.
Okay.
Okay, and these are not small burgers. These are like quarter pounders
Oh my God.
of beef with extra cheese, and so yeah, I have cut off completely.
That's what I'm telling you again. You have a strong willpower. Trust me, it's not
No,
easy.
I
It's
don't
basic
think so.
instructions. He
It's-
told me
it's-
one day, just leave it. Leave
It's
sugar.
one instruction. I think people don't realize this. If you overload people with instructions, no, they will stop doing it.
Yeah.
So I realized, this is what I tell people. Choose one thing. Don't do that. Do everything else.
Everything
How
else,
much ever
yeah.
you want to do. Do not guilt trip yourself. Do not forget, if you want to lose your weight, forget, and I'm gonna get so much backlash for this shit. Forget about everything else. Just cut off one thing. Sugar. Khalas. Maafi. You want to eat? Eat rice. Eat 100. Put on 2 kilos eating rice. No problem. Put on 5 kilos eating rice. No problem. In the long run, you'll cut that shit.
Yeah.
In the short run, you have learned how to create habits.
Habits. Absolutely.
And that is going to change your fucking life.
And more than that, once you create habit, the kind of discipline that comes along with it, it is mad. The discipline is the only thing that helps you become a different person. Altogether a different person. You will start loving the fact that you wake up and you're doing something, you're excited. Even something like, maybe brushing your teeth or something like that, it just gets, you start enjoying things like this. And I don't mean like brushing your teeth, like
It's
literally
also
brushing your teeth.
attaching a habit to a previously established habit.
Yeah.
So what I realized was, like, if something is hard to do for you, what you can simply do is, if you have a pre-trained habit for me would be, I wake up, I go take a shit, I go have my coffee. Now this routine never changes. No matter what the fuck happens, never changes. What do I do now? Attach one more
yeah.
attach just one more habit to it, like a trigger. So now every time you do these 3 things, these 3 things trigger the 4th habit. Even though you hate doing the 4th habit, now that you've attached these 3 things to that first habit, you end up doing the 4th habit by itself.
Like what?
For me, it was yoga.
Okay.
So take a shit, and again, don't have to do it for 50 hours, 1 hour. No. 5 minutes. Do it for 2 minutes. Just do it for a minute. Just put your mat, just stand there and be like, I did yoga. Yes. Get yourself to that point. The first 15% of your entire task is the 85% of the result.
Yeah.
To get yourself on the mat is the hardest. So once I trigger this, trigger, I'm on. I will stand there and I will not do it, but I have stood there. I am happy.
You haven't read Atomic Habits?
No.
This is the same thing that is mentioned in that book. You establish cues and then you attach habits to each other, like a breed.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm fucking great, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I am.
You must have
The
watched
books-
videos and all.
No, I think the books are written on him.
Yeah. no.
All these self-help books
All
and
of
all
this.
are.
Yeah, it
we
is
have
mentioned in it.
The
I am
warm tales
I've
of
read-
Saad.
person.
No, so Imad realized this a long time ago. So Imad is a self-help trainer, like coach and all of that. And he realized like, he would tell me, bro, go read this book, it'll help you. And I would never do it.
Mm.
And he realized it's pointless to tell me to read a book because I would never end up actually reading a book. Then he realized the only best way to teach me anything is by making me teach him. So he would trigger me to understand how I operate. So he would come to me, he's like, bro, you're so amazing. I'm like, yes, I'm amazing. He's like, bro, you're so awesome. I'm like, yes, I'm awesome. Bro, can you teach me how to do this? I'm like, of course. You have now tickled my fucking ego. Why the fuck not? So I would learn my entire process. So I would teach him. And the thing is, that truth already knew. But he made me aware of my processes. And most of us already know these things.
Yeah.
But it's not in our awareness. Imad taught me how to be in my awareness by tickling my ego. For a good 6 months, he would just wake up every day. He would be like, bro, you're so awesome. Can you teach me how you do this? I'm like, yeah, bro, of course. I will teach you how to do this. I would write that shit down. I will like this, like, good job. Thank you. I'm like,
I already
okay.
knew it.
Yeah. No, he didn't. You know, when I figured it out, because he was pulling the same shit so long, I started seeing a pattern.
And you call that bullshit
And
up.
I'm like, you piece of shit. He's like, no, of course not. And you know how Imad can be so
Yeah.
condescending
Yeah.
sometimes? It's like, no, of course not. I'm like, what a piece of shit. Now, on that note, last part, okay? And this is something I want to genuinely know from you. How do you tell a kid, according to me, you're not a skeptic. I wouldn't like calling you a skeptic, but you are a caution. You can see caution like a fucking headwind, right? That mindset is extremely hard for entrepreneurs because that will make you not try to do new things. But you, at the same time, have figured out, yes, caution is good, but I'm going to do it either way. And I am yet to see that with a lot of people because a lot of people are not able to shift that mindset. You understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, yeah.
How did you come to that? Because I've never had that issue.
Bro, so what I feel is that red flags are definitely important. You should be able to see red flags.
Yes.
Because if you do not see red flags, how are you going to pivot?
True.
Because if you're starting something, it's not like whatever you start you're going to end up with it forever. No, you have to pivot. I feel that being able to see these red flags is going to help me itself pivot. So with red flags, it's not like, okay, I see it and I'm going to stop doing it. No, we of course have to take a different direction after that.
So what do you think happens to these guys who just see the red flags and not take the step? What's stopping them from taking that next step?
Man, I honestly don't know. I don't know why they see it. If they see it, I don't know why they're not. Maybe they're like stuck or like emotionally stuck, like I told
Were
you
you ever
earlier.
stuck?
With Kurtos, yeah, I was definitely against.
What would you tell that Junaid?
Like I told you, it was a successful stepping stone for me.
I am that Junaid.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Ah,
Legit. You know what he needs to hear.
Yeah.
You know he's refusing to hear it. What does he need to hear?
Man, see, everything in your life teaches you something. Okay. Especially with this company. The only thing that this company has really taught me something that's valuable is that it's put me across people, across spectrums, across places. And that was the job of that company. When something happens to you in your life, there's a purpose, right? Once the purpose is done, you have to get out of it. You need to understand that. So the purpose of Kurtos was to put me into places. And the job's done.
Now it's time to let it go.
Now it's done. Time to let it go. Absolutely. The minute you realize that the purpose is done and you're still stuck, you're wasting time. You're increasing your losses. So earlier that you realize that you need to cut your losses, it's better for you.
What's your purpose?
I don't know, man. Why are you asking me such deep questions?
Do you have a purpose?
No, I'm figuring my purpose out. Honestly.
Did you have a purpose? it's the reason why I'm asking, because I used to have a lot of goals and dreams and all of that. Not as much anymore, which is weird because I should be having bigger dreams and goals and ambitions. And at this point, I am not as purpose driven as I used to be. Do you know what I mean?
I know. But I've never felt that, I've never thought that I need to have a purpose. Like, purpose is good. Like, you need to know what you're doing. For me, purpose is, I've never had a long-term purpose. I've always had like short-term, 3 months, 6 months. We'll see how it goes from there. Because if I feel that, I have a long-term purpose, then everything aligns to that. But I don't know where life's taking me right now. So it's always better for me to have short-term purpose, short-term goals. Like, I need to do this. And then maybe see where it's going. I really don't know, man. So that is my short-term purpose. That's how short-term goals maybe. That's how I operate.
On that note, we will keep having Junaid Sayyed back
Yes.
on the Kaafi Sexy podcast. But here's the thing. This is what I'm going to leave you guys on. This man is one of the most incredible friends / you're not a mentor. I don't know how to, like, I've thrown ideas on you. I look at you as competition sometimes. Like, I think it's
Why is it competition, bro?
No, it's good.
Healthy competition.
It's
Yeah,
good.
that's
Bro, I
good.
think people don't realize you're my frenemy. In the sense of, like, I love you. Don't get me wrong. Like you, Raheem, Ramzi, like, you need to have people you battle with, bro.
Yeah.
That's how you grow.
And like I told you, because you asked me that question, that's how I was in that. So I'll tell you what. I was going in the scooter and I was in a deep state of, in my mind, like, I'm really thinking, like, what am I doing in my life? Why is this fucking brother, my friend's younger brother, coming and telling me, what the fuck are you doing in your life? Like, why? And I'm like, you know what? He's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. So that's when I was like,
It's important to have people you can compete with on some level.
and if I did not have that, it was not competition. It was not like,
it
it
is
was-
competition, bro.
yeah.
It's a one-up.
yeah.
Bitch, if I see you scale faster, bitch, you better see me fucking coming here. No, you're
Absolutely.
losing, motherfucker. I don't know what is this metric we are fucking gauging by, but it is my philosophy versus yours. We need to see who wins by the end of this thing.
We all are going to win, bro.
Fuck
That's
you,
how
yes, but,
yeah.
but by the end of this,
That's what happens.
I'm gonna win bigger.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win better. I'm gonna win higher, motherfucker. You get what I'm saying?
And he'll get me there on top, bro.
And
I
this
know.
is this people. Japanese anime kind of figured this concept of frenemies, which most other cinema doesn't have. So most Japanese anime have the hero, the villain, and the anti-hero.
Okay.
So there's the guy, for example, Naruto has another side character. His name is Sasuke.
Okay.
Sasuke is an asshole, but he's not the villain. There are villains that they fight, but these both are fighting with each other in order to become stronger than each other to fight that villain.
So there's a bigger plan.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So,
Got
like,
it.
for example, Goku Vegeta. So Goku is fucking, like, every time Goku becomes fucking this strong, like level A, Vegeta is like, fuck this bitch.
Yeah.
See me, I'm going to level B. And he goes to level B and Goku is like, fuck you, bitch, I'm going to level C. And that concept of someone who you compete with, not your enemy, but someone you respect.
Yeah.
Someone who you look up to and you're like, mother chod, look at me, motherfucker. And it excites me every time you guys kill it, bro, because I want to fucking destroy you. It is, and not in a metaphorical destroy you. Like, I want you to fucking succeed like nobody's business, okay?
And then
Don't
you want
get
to
me wrong.
succeed even better.
Yes. And I think people underestimate that,
Yeah.
man. That is
I
so
know.
fucking important.
Yeah.
And even within companies, me and Raheem is taking Department A. Department A is doing so well. Department B, fuck you, bitch. Department B is going to do this. And then you have to. Because in order for you to grow, number one is you are constantly fighting against yourself, right? Like, you're competing with yourself. But to have good competitors outside.
Bro, I don't think competition is the right word, honestly.
I know, there's a lack of a better word. I don't
Yeah.
know the word.
I don't think competition is a better word. I think it's just self-growth in that department. don't know.
Why
I
do
don't know.
you? I want to be aggressive about this, you little bitch.
About
Fuck
what?
you. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Okay, be
like,
aggressive
fuck
about
you,
it,
bro.
but I'm just telling it's not
no,
healthy.
bitch, shut the fuck up. Who do you think's gonna win, Junaid or Saad? Stay tuned. Both are gonna be billionaires at the end of it, but I'm gonna be billionaire plus one, motherfucker. All that. $1 extra. All
Let's
that.
go.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, guys.
And if you have any questions, you can hit up Junaid Sayyed. His Instagram's down below. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned.
Bye.